I'm going to ask them to say 1 minute about their vision of Boulder. But before they do, I'm going to ask them to choose one of these beautiful actors to play them in what's going to be a very kind of large movement story.
My name's Shirley Lee White. My vision for Boulder is one that hopes the comp plan reflects the fact that communities have extraordinary capacity to solve their own problems, and that oftentimes the answer to communities' challenges lie within the community and not with government. Imagine for one moment a series of concentric circles, and you are in the center of the circle, and the community believes that you have the capacity to identify and solve your own problems. And then when you don't, you step outside into the next concentric ring of your family and your friends, and you try to problem solve and get some support there. And if that doesn't work, you then move to the next ring, perhaps your neighbor, a rabbi, if you're a young person, a teacher or a coach. And if that doesn't work, then you move to the next concentric ring, where government has partnered with human service, community-based human service organizations, and that that ring is funded as robustly as police, the courts, and emergency rooms, the last concentric ring in the circle. And that we as a community, while I'm not a gambler, I would bet we would, all of us here in this room, agree that the preferred way to solve community problems is closer to the center than it is on the outside. So then I ask you to wonder with me why the Human Services Fund and other kind of funding streams that are meant to support the first responders, that is EFA, that is Motus, that is Rocky Mountain Equality, that is Sister Carmen, those are first responders as well, are not funded nearly as robustly as, say, a $40 million police budget.
Thank you. And would you choose someone to be you? Besides David, who's already been chosen.
Alejandro?
Beautiful. All right, your 1 minute vision.
I'm Rafael Hernandez Guerrero. I live in Ponderosa Mobile Home Park. I'm an immigrant from Mexico, and I've been living here for about half my life. So like 7, 8 years, 9. I'm a senior in high school. I'm Boulder High. I have in my experience living in Boulder, kind of struggle to find my place and my position in Boulder. And I've noticed that there are definitely some issues when it comes to minority representation in terms of ethnic representation, as well as the representation of poor people. And I think this is because, a factor in it is that Boulder uses at-large elections to elect the city council, which has the power to dilute the voting, has the power to dilute the voice of these minority groups, it kind of concentrates the interests into a median voter that does not necessarily represent the interests of smaller communities in geographically concentrated areas. Cities like Broomfield and Longmont, which have relatively similar demographics, use something called by-district elections, which divide the city into different districts, and each district elects its own member to the council. And I believe that a switch to by-district elections in Boulder would improve ethnic representation and representation of people from different socioeconomic backgrounds.
Alexis. Hi, I'm Norma Johnson, and I've been here for pretty close to 3 decades. And always been engaged in community organizing and social justice work, in particular racial justice.
Would you hold that a little closer? So
Okay, is that better? Yeah, in particular racial justice. And I hear so much of the same thing coming from people that are underrepresented in those areas. And the stories culminate into something that's not understood in terms of reaching out to people. Who needs to do the reaching out, and who are they reaching out to? What does community outreach really mean? What does inclusivity really mean? If we're not seeing it, if we're not feeling it, it's not there. What can we do different to change that? At the core of it, it means relationships. It's a relational thing. It's a relational idea. There's invitations lots of times for people to come and make us diverse. But how often have people actually stepped into other people's spaces, witnessed what other people are talking about and living? Without that, I have to wonder if things will change, if this community will look different and be different and act different. Relationship builds trust. Without trust, it stays the same.
I'm going to go with the professor here. Okay. My name is Ramon Gabriel off Parish. I'm representing Flows and Once and Future Green, some local climate justice activists of color. Each night, I set my gaze on the western horizon. Here's what I see. Boulder as a bubble, a cellophane membrane of money silently screams, whites only, and really only the rich ones. Miners, stay in Louisville, please. Boulder as a whitopia. People like the city planner, landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted Jr., who seeded planning in Boulder, was an individual with vision, who saw that there was a relationship between public space and the possibility of democracy, but their vision did not penetrate deeply enough. They set a frame that we are still feeling the benefits and the consequences of today. So here's what else I see, or the possibility. I see a Boulder that has worked magic with the science of zoning. A Boulder that gets ahead of projected post-normal trends of climate, culture, and technology, and becomes a beacon of mesopolitan living in the 21st century. A Boulder that goes beyond the statue on the creek walkway of Chief Niwot and actually internalizes the image of him holding the American flag as he is shot down by federal soldiers with the grandmothers and grandchildren. A Boulder that recognizes the elder claims to this valley by the Arapaho and welcomes their communities back to stay. A Boulder that pioneers cultural healing, building golden bridges across peoples, across the children of the indigenous, the settlers, and yes, the enslaved. A Boulder that reverses gentrification and has a new little rectangle, an African-American community near the heart of downtown. Urban renewal without Negro removal. A Boulder that honors its Latino communities and their leadership as the cultural bridge builders and innovators of new green family and community-owned businesses. A Boulder that celebrates the gifts of its international community, Tibetans, Nepalese, and West Africans, to name a few minus tokenization. A city still built to the scale of the foot, walkable, bikeable, self-driving cars driving folks up the mountain. A city that creatively houses people, whether they live in an eco mansion in the hills, a fly condo on Pearl Street, a garden and backyard in South Boulder with a tiny house on it, a mobile home community, or camp cities by the creek. Hell, a Boulder that reinvents a new Airbnb where the dude in the river, by the river, can stay in the eco mansion and the dude in the mansion can go take a break by the creek. A Boulder that skillfully employs flexible zoning to bring about Black, brown, native, white, Nepali-owned eco-cottage industries to relocalize the economy and retain boutique global reach. A Boulder that takes up its responsibility at the top of the watershed, irrigating the West with snowmelt that you can scoop out by hand and, yes, drink. A Boulder where young families can raise children and where queer kids can be out inventing new versions of relationship and selfhood, where elders can guide youth with a lifetime of pearls and youth can dazzle elders with feats of caring, daring, and creative breakthrough. A Boulder that utilizes its history as a center of scholarship and innovation, engineering and meditation, AI and radiosonics, VR and somatics, bold experiments in permaculture and reparations, UVI and circular economies. A city of utopian daring and experimentation. A city where Black people stay. A sunrise town, not a sunset town or a sundown town. Okay? It can't all be accomplished tomorrow. But we can set our horizons for decades, if not centuries. Bold experiments can be initiated in these directions now that will bear fruit in 2045. Each dusk, I set my gaze on the evening star just above the western horizon. If I shoot for Venus, I might just hit the Flatirons.
Boulder in 20 years. Let's watch.
This week, we want to talk about the future this week.
I'm 20 years. 20 years, I'm like, what, 77? That's if I'm still here.
Can I even see that far? 20 years?
Will I know?
43.
Will I know where I am, who I am?
Will there be any people of color left here?
Wow. You know, that's a lot to hold. What, 20 years?
If you've got hope, I've got hope. You know what I hope for? I hope that one day we all feel supported.
All feel supported.
Supported by our families, by our communities, and by our government.
We all feel held up.
That the human resources, that the human services, organizations that support us also get funded just as much, or if not more, than first responders.
Get supported.
We can support each other.
Supported and be autonomous. And we want our communities to know we can solve our own problems.
We can. It's on us. I don't think I trust it. I don't think I trust it. I don't think I trust them because they don't even take all of us into account.
We need
Don't
districts.
trust it.
They don't take all of us into account.
Districts.
You ever seen Mockingbird? Because I feel like at some point, if you keep shutting us down, if you keep telling us that our voices don't matter.
What voices?
Do you even see me? I get all these invitations to come to this place and that place.
There and there.
I want you to come to me. Come to my house. See my community. See my culture.
Me. Is this an exchange?
Relationship.
Relationship.
relationship. Without this, nothing.
That's where I'm aiming. I hear the whispers of the past. Whites only. Wealth wins. I feel the weight of those that gave their lives for this land. Niwot was not a statue. He was a peace chief, a multilinguist, a man of skill and valor who met difference with peace and skill.
And dignity.
And love.
And was shot. And brushed alongside the creek into a tiny encampment with the rest of the undesirables. Imagine that creek running free and clean and actually nurturing orchards of kindness and interwoven humankind.
Let's aim for Venus.
Imagine the Golden Triangle coming back. The Gauss Triangle coming back.
Yes.
Imagine this Wytopia becoming a patchwork again, a kaleidoscope. Imagine us lifting each other.
Let's aim for Venus.
One fabric of humanity.
Let's feed every one and every part of everyone.
I just want to be the type of person that
Aim for
can
Venus.
That's what
I just want to be seen. I just want to be represented.
The ground we tread and the blood that runs through it can nurture us.
I just want to know what a future can actually look like. One that includes all of us.
All.
You.
Of us.
You.
That's a lot.
And you. And you.
Okay, I'm listening.
I want,
Trust this?
I want to be able to trust again.
Can I come to your house and ask questions?
Can I be represented and seen?
Can you see me?
Can you see us?
The heart is willing.
This is a dream that moves me. This picks me up and carries me forward.
Get Ramon's number.
My name is John Oliver, and two different feelings for me today is confusion and fear.
And why confusion?
I didn't think that one through too good, but I didn't have nothing to say on that one. But fear is because my family is the homeless in Boulder, and I don't know how many of us may freeze to death tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we're here. We're part of Boulder too.
Well said. Can we have a round of applause on that one? So if I say something that doesn't sound right, you let me know. Because on the one hand, there's fear in the sense of like, hey, the stakes in this Boulder Valley Comprehensive Plan, the stakes tonight are really high. People I love may die because it's cold and there's no place to live. Like that's about as high stakes as it gets, right? It's like now and in 20 years, what are we gonna do? And I'm going to throw out and let you guys think about what some of the confusions are. But to me, the fact that you even have the possibility of people you love freezing tonight, how do you hold it? That's kind of confusing. Like, that doesn't make sense in the wealthiest country in the US, right? That is confusing. Is there anything else you want to throw out as confusing? And they'll throw in things, but how does that sound? All right. Thank you. Let's watch.
It's cold. Is this the place? Is this the place?
What if people die tonight?
Can I actually speak our truth here?
My family needs shelter from the cold as a basic human right.
I'm just not sure if this is the place.
But you told me that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal. I'm confused.
Fear is its own kind of shelter.
This, my country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty. And I am really confused.
It is the largest covering there is, and just try to get out from under it.
And that song, Joy to the World? I am so confused.
May we all survive this night.
I'm not too good at this kind of thing because, I'm not like a theater person, and when like the blessings rain down on me, I'm more like somebody who's talked to city council or something like boring like that. But somebody said something before about like we need flexible zoning. We need to make everything affordable for everybody. But flexible zoning means that profits for the developer from Chicago, for the developers to come from California to be able to build whatever they want. I think we need purposeful zoning where we require a percentage of affordable houses, and we require energy efficiency, and we require it to be near transit stops. And instead of giving businesses assistance to bring them in here, we should charge them impact fees so they can help us provide housing for their workers. And I feel like when I say these kind of things, that I want more like restrictive zoning in those ways, people say that I already have a house I bought 20 years ago, and that I just want to close the door behind me, and that I live in a bubble, and that I want Boulder to be rich and white, or Boulder, and I still sometimes feel like, I'm afraid of change and things like that, but I just want things to be more purposeful, and I love the way things are. In a lot of ways, we live in the wildland-urban interface. We've got Boulder Valley Parks and open space, wonderful places around us. We're also home for wildlife and tons of plant species. So I kind of like things the way they are, and I feel like really guilty.
All right. I was thinking maybe we should do this as a fluid. Are y'all okay with that? Alejandro, will you join? So really, at some level, it's like, well, maybe I should feel really guilty because I really love things the way they are. I have a home, and I'm really enjoying the beauty of the land and the natural environment and all the things that Boulder has to offer. And can we do purposeful zoning? Can we improve things by turning up the volume on what is possible while holding on to the beauty that I enjoy now, like having affordable housing and having environmental regulations and not and charging businesses versus paying businesses to be here? Is that a little bit? Yeah. Yes. Okay.
This house I bought 20 years ago in this city is my home.
I put a lot into it, and getting it just the way I like it. My family and I have. We've tended the grounds. We've cultivated relationships with neighbors.
Boulder's just so like, wee! Like I can go into the mountains, I can see beautiful things. There's so much good here.
And when I say I want purpose, I mean that I want to make sure that people who come here are the types of individuals that come from all walks of life.
And that we build for them, that we plan for them, that we cultivate our space.
We want them to be able to afford it. I want to be able to afford it.
Everybody gets to enjoy it. Everybody gets to taste this delicious fruit that we call Boulder.
Purpose. Purposeful.
Purposeful.
Intentional.
Intentional.
Because it's so good here.
Let's not mess it up.
Awesome. Was that a little bit like that? Yeah, awesome. Before you say your 1-minute vision for Boulder in 20 years, would you pick one of these beautiful people to be you, and then you can go?
Alejandro.
All right. So your 1-minute vision.
All right, I did not prepare something, but a couple themes that come to mind. One would be just greater democracy and community engagement. I think, events like this are great, but how can we sort of build a practice of people being involved in their communities, in their like tenants of an apartment complex coming together, cooperative gardens, cooperative housing, more unions, worker co-ops, just a community where people are involved and know each other and are sort of building the muscles of democracy, which I think will need to get us through potentially very difficult times in terms of climate and social unrest over the next 20 years, and building on existing civil society. And the other thing I'd bring up, which is related to my own PhD research, I'm at CU, is our relationship with specifically non-human animals. I think with climate change, right, our relationship with animal agriculture has to change, or we'll just keep making things worse. There's new technologies that are, transforming medical research. We're learning more about other animals, and we're learning more about, say, prairie dogs. Amazing communication capabilities as we continue to kill them. And so I'd love to see Boulder kind of take the lead in making a new relationship with other creatures where we share this world with them and don't use them or treat them merely as food test subjects or pests.
I didn't know your name. Sorry. Shelby. Shelty. Thank you. I live in a resident-owned community, and we did our first community garden this spring, and it was very exciting. And it really is a community. We support each other. 2 days ago, we were snowbound on one of our rows. It's a manufactured home park, and there are all the residents out there snow plowing. I mean, digging up the snow, and we did have snow plows come because it was so condensed, but that's an example of what can happen. We're a cooperative, and we're one of the first in Colorado, and it is a wonderful thing. However, we have our challenges, and we need help with our challenges, such as we have old infrastructure from prior owners, and we have a $6 million, we're looking at a $6 million wastewater plant, which is totally ridiculous for a community of 60. $6 million, a wastewater plant, just for that small community? Why isn't it possible to connect to a bigger wastewater plant and it be 1.5 million? So challenges, but great community.
This isn't in Ramon's poetic voice, but I do have a few things written down. So, yeah, Jim, since you spoke up. In 2045, 20 years from today, I'll be 79 and healthy, hopefully. My daughters will be 45 and 48, and my soon-to-be-born grandchild will be 19. Many of my mentors, the activists, advocates, and friends who welcomed me into their lives will have transcended. Will their vision and my vision for Boulder still be a vision? Or will it be realized by then? Or will it cease because people moved on and out? Tired of supplying repeated input without significant and meaningful output in return. 30 years ago, people from underrepresented groups came together as the Center for Diverse Communities here in Boulder. We further conceptualized a vision that many had already spoken on for 20 years before that. This vision is a space, or spaces, where interactions among and outreach to culturally diverse communities happens, including social action, education, business, artistic and recreational activities, a vibrant, inviting focal point for community, a gathering place for children and adults, a resource center that fosters a healthy civic atmosphere. We need to address the basic needs, a minimum wage that is a thriving wage, a sustainable economy that supports local enterprise, a different approach to make homes affordable and builds equity, and a populace that feels secure and is engaged. But if we truly want diversity of culture, experience, and imagination, if Boulder Valley is going to be a place where my grandchild would want to live, then we need systems and spaces that are tangibly welcoming to people of diverse cultures, experiences, and ideas.
Yes, please, thank you. My vision includes everyone else's vision kind of working, right? I guess I can name that vision in 2 words: belonging and identity. I see a Boulder where everyone belongs and where my kids and my grandkids belong in Boulder and they're not included in Boulder. I'm included right now. I feel that diversity and inclusion is working. We're here, right? I want to belong here. I don't want to be included. I want a place where when I hear everything's working, I don't feel offended because it's not working for me. It's not working for so many people. I would love a downtown that you can go in and see what's Boulder's identity, that you can find the crafters, the artists, the food that is local, and to get a nice, amazing burrito, you don't have to go to 55th and Arapahoe to get on a food truck, that you can taste that in a downtown that is reflecting our identity, where someone that worked the whole day can leave their job in downtown and have dinner there and maybe get together with their kids there. But I guess the most important thing is that everyone belongs and that we don't need to include anyone anymore.
Seeds that are planted now we'll be able to sit in the shade of. That is, those of us who are left.
In 20 years, that's like a person getting all the way to college if they pursue that path, and that feels like a long time.
My grandchild getting to college.
But that also feels so close.
Under that tree.
So close, but yet so far away.
Will we ever get there? Will this vision just always be a mirage?
Are we wasting our time?
20 years.
We can dream.
Can't
What do we
come
need to
soon enough.
plant and water now?
And we can envision.
You know what it's about? You know what it's really about? Relationships.
Yes. Relationships.
Because when you are willing to dig in real deep in order to get to the foundation of what a person is really about, or what an animal is really about, you understand that that is what builds community. That is what allows us to connect with one another. And if you have the heart to think that a prairie dog is worthy of life, then you have the heart to believe that any human is worthy to pursue their love, their path, their life.
It's called a cooperative. And we are literally collaboratively cooperating.
Cooperation.
We cooperate.
Right here.
I haven't even told you how much joy there is in digging up the snow that is in our way.
There was
that's
snow,
like the best part.
and then there wasn't.
Because we did that.
Together.
Together.
We can do so much together, but we can't do it all.
We need your help.
something reasonable.
$6 million?
$6 million?
Connect? Can we connect?
Can we connect?
I had been working for 30 years before that meeting. And some of the voices I heard had been here 20 years before me. But we planted seeds that day, grandchild. Seeds that have paved a way for you to go to college, to be safe and included in an environment with all your friends from all their backgrounds.
All their backgrounds.
Feeling safe, connected, supported.
Supported.
Belonging.
Everybody.
I'm so glad we planted those seeds. I had you in my heart, grandchild.
You know what? You don't need to include me if I already belong. Belonging. My children, my grandchildren.
Aquí.
You see them, your faces light up because they belong.
Belong.
Belonging.
We belong.
We belong. We belong. And our food, our culture, everything.
Let's get some
is on the
tacos.
table.
$22.50.
Ooh.
And these are hard shell tacos. What the fuck?
Con queso? Ma que gringos.
Belonging. 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 Say it. Belonging. 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 We belong. We belong. We all belong.
Sí se puede.